Here's a neat little VCR I've been holding on to, planning to try and fix up and get working again. This is a Sanyo and the model is VCR-3. And it's pretty small and compact. It's deep, I guess because of the transport, and then part of the power supply actually sticks out of the back, so it's even deeper. And it weighs quite a bit. And it has this little flip down door for all the extra controls on it. Really cool looking. I don't have the remote for it, and if I remember right, this won't load a tape, so probably either belts or lubrication or something to get it started. And it has a digital tuner. Let's plug it in. Yeah. Immediately I can hear a bit of a transformer hum. It powers up. Well, that's very weird. Oh, so you can do different presets. So I can just change this to say whatever I want, and then I just adjust this for the one channel. I'm gonna have to look this up. This is very weird. It's got like a tuning capacitor and a switch, but only one of them. And then I guess it saves this information digitally? Huh. Never seen that before. Oh, I'll turn the programming off. So yeah, let's load a tape here. I'll get a tape and see what it does. I love these old sleeves. The retro artwork on these. Zenith. Okay. Oh yeah. Doesn't really have a lot of power to it. Oh, did it go in? I think this deserves being opened. For starters, here's what the underside looks like. And this thing is packed so tight. And you can see the power supply sticking out the back and the transformer. And it looks like it's a direct drive capstan. And here's the head. And there's a motor here, which I assume would drive the idler for the spools. So let's see if there's anything there, and there's probably going to be a loading motor on the top side. Jam-packed. So look at this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 circuit boards all stacked on top of each other. Power supply sticks out the back here with what looks like a heatsink. A bit of a heatsink there. Then you've got all the, I guess this is related to the picture circuitry sitting above the head. And what's interesting is this looks like it's direct drive as well. I don't see any belts between this motor and the loading. So could it be that it's just the grease has all dried up in this and that's what's preventing it from loading? So far I don't see a single belt in this. Let me see if I can lift this tape back out so we can take a look underneath. Oh shit, I don't know what I did. I tried lifting the tape out and now it loaded my tape. It doesn't seem to want to play it. don't see any errors. Oof. Well, crap. All I was doing is trying to lift this assembly out here, and by lifting this side, it triggered, I guess, the sensor to think the tape is in all the way, and loaded the tape. So there's some sort of mechanical issue going on with this loading mechanism. I'm going to start poking around. But let's see what it does if I hit eject. That really just sounds like it. And it loaded it again. Let's see if I can get the light down here. So if I hit eject, oh. Yeah, no take up. So that's probably the idler. Okay, if I hit fast forward. Oh, lovely. Rewind. What? Okay. Aha! A belt! Not sure what this one does yet. And a dew sensor. Crap, I think I found my problem. There's a little loose gear sitting there. And if you look, there's this rod that goes from one side, and I think that's actually cracked too. Come on, focus. Yeah, that's cracked as well. So it goes from this side here where the motor is driving the eject to this side. So this side will lift up at the same time. So that is broken. But luckily it's in there, so I might be able to glue it back together. For now I'm going to just try and take this whole thing out so I can get this tape out and assess the rest of it. But I wonder if I'm able to epoxy that back in. That would explain why it was so jerky going in. Alright, after much fiddling I was able to move this up slowly. I took the gear off the other side, it also was cracked, so that I was able to bring this up independently. And it looks like we've got two plastic gears, and it looks like they shrunk. I've heard of some plastic gears shrinking or, changing over time compared to the metal that they interface with, and then cracking, shrinking down on what they're sitting on and then cracking. And both of these have done that. And there's this little shaft here. Focus. It's got a notch there that they each sit on. So while the motor drives this side to come up or down, the shaft will use the gear to hit this side. And it does have a rubber idler that, from what I saw there, will definitely need to be cleaned up. Maybe I'll just be able to scuff this thing and get it working in the meantime. But the hard part's going to be getting these gears to work. Because if it's shrunk, then that means the teeth, even if I glue this back together, this one notch here, the spacing between these two teeth, will be bigger than the rest, which might cause stress on it when it's meshing with this gear. So I'll have to see what I can do with this. Further to my comment about the plastic breaking, look at all the plastic pieces in this VCR. Broken, broken, broken there, broken right there. Everything in here seems to have broken at one point. I don't know if it's just the plastic aging and then getting stressed, or maybe it's a temperature fluctuation. What I'm doing right now is I've noticed this is actually not, so it's not lined up with the loading mechanism here. So this drives a couple of gears and goes over to this little arm. You can sort of see it in here, maybe not. This right here. This is an arm and it's got a notch that goes all the way down, or a slot, and it lines up with the end of this gear. Oh, this is real hard to film in here. You can sort of see there's a little metal rod there. So that is supposed to sit inside here. So I need to get this lined up with that again. So I might pop this side off so that I can pull it out and put that in there, because otherwise me lifting it and going like this, I might break something else, given how brittle everything in this VCR seems to be. I just want to give a moment of appreciation for the difference in complexity of this mechanism. So your tracking and audio head are down here, and your capstan and your pinch roller are all on this side here. So the tape comes in, goes through the capstan and pinch roller, then along this head, these two guides, then goes around the video head, all the way around, goes past the erase head, along that guide, all the way back into the tape. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but normally this, I call it the ABC head or something, this head and the capstan and pinch roller are normally up here all together. And look at these little spring-loaded guides, and watch what happens when I hit eject. That is cool. They did some token efforts to make this serviceable, like the circuit board pivots on these 2 points here. So this lifts up and the circuit board below goes like that. But everything is so tight and so just integrated that you have to get every little piece in just right. The problem I'm having is that this doesn't go down all the way when I manually move the motor. So that little arm that pivots and has this little round doohickey thing that goes in it that lifts and moves this whole cartridge, it doesn't go down all the way, it stops. So I'm thinking that there might be another gear that's been slipped or something inside, because this isn't going down nearly enough to load the tape. Like you can see, I think this is like the right protect switch underneath this hole, that little clear stalk, and this isn't going down low enough, and it's not lining up with the tape transport. Like you can see, this side will go down a lot further. Right now they're not lined up. So what I want to do is I want to pull this whole loading mechanism out, but something is stopping me from pulling it out on this side. There's 4 screws and then it should just lift out. Well, in my experience it should just lift out, but this VCR is just stupid. Alright, this is going to have to be part 1 for this VCR. I'm kind of stuck at a point where I can't get this mechanism out. It seems to be stuck on what looks like a little set screw here. Let's see if I can pull back here. See this little set screw right there? So when I pull this up, there's a little notch right there. See, it's hitting. And yeah, I think I'm just going to take a little thinking break to ponder this a little more. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about this VCR, has any experience, I'd love to hear from you before I go and butcher this thing any further.